kettlebell snatch is a full-body ballistic pull-push exercise that is excellent for improving strength, power, and endurance. However, many people experience a problem when training the snatch. The problem is kettlebell banging them on the wrist at the top of the movement. While bruised forearms are pretty unpleasant, this is actually a symptom of a technique error that can seriously damage the shoulder. In the snatch, the kettlebell should always land softly on the forearm. Not only is this more pleasant, but it also demonstrates that you have mastered the technique of the snatch, a big part of which is timing. Notice when the kettlebell is landing on the forearm. In the wrong technique, it lands while it's overhead. In the correct technique, it lands before that. Notice the kettlebell position. In the correct technique, the kettlebell has already landed softly before the arm becomes vertical. In the incorrect technique, the kettlebell is still flying up so that when the arm reaches vertical, the kettlebell will come crashing down. This piece of timing is crucial for snatching the kettlebell correctly. To help us master the skill of timing, we use punch the clock drill. In this drill, we perform a swing, but while the kettlebell is floating weightless, we flip and land it on the forearm momentarily before going back into the backswing. The key is to perform everything while the kettlebell is still floating weightless. You will slow down your arm, let the kettlebell flip, and then punch through. In order for the kettlebell to rotate easily, release the handle while spearing the hand through it. If you hang on to the kettlebell, it will slow down. Keep your wrist straight at all times. Bending the wrist backwards will extend the arc and slow down the turnover of the kettlebell, which should be very fast. In addition, bending the wrist can cause serious wrist sprain. If you do this correctly, you should be able to pause momentarily with the kettlebell resting on your forearm using your snatch weight. The kettlebell is weightless. This is not a front raise. You should not use effort to hold it up. 4 of the most common errors when performing this drill are not floating the kettlebell but pulling it with the arm. Second, waiting passively rather than proactively flipping the kettlebell over. Third, hanging onto the kettlebell rather than releasing it. And fourth, bending the wrist backwards rather than keeping it straight. Those errors happen both during punch the clock drill and during the snatch when the kettlebell bangs you on the forearm. First, make sure that you use your hips to drive and float the kettlebell, exactly the same as you would in a one-arm swing. Second, act during the float. Land the kettlebell on your forearm while it's still flying upwards. Don't wait for it to start crashing down. Third, release the handle to spear the hand through. You should be able to do that because the kettlebell should be floating weightless. If you have to hang on to the kettlebell, you must not be packing your shoulder, so revisit swing technique. And of course, keep your wrist straight at all times. Once you have mastered landing the kettlebell on your forearm, begin punching the clock. Start at 9 o'clock, then go to 10 o'clock, then 11 o'clock, and finally 11:30. The higher you take the kettlebell, the harder your hips have to work to make the kettlebell float weightless. Finally, notice that we do not punch at 12 o'clock, because by then it is too late. Instead, punch at 11 or 11:30 and let momentum take you to 12. The same timing applies to snatch. You punch early and then let the momentum take you to vertical. I hope this drill is as useful to you as it has been for Kettlebell Academy students. If you want to master kettlebell technique for safe and effective training, try out our Zero to Snatch Kettlebell Beginner course. Link in the description. Finally, thank you very much to these folks for making this video possible.